So today's lesson is about collecting data and specifically organizing that data into tally charts, or sometimes they're called frequency tables. So before we look at tally charts or frequency tables, we need to make sure that everybody knows what a tally mark is. I would think everybody knows, but let's just make sure. Tally marks are just little lines, like 1, 2, 3, 4. That shows 4. But then we don't make a fifth, we cross it to make the 5. And the reason that we do that is if you had a whole bunch of marks, is it easy to see what those are? You'd have to count them. You'd have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whereas if you had it like this, you go, oh, that's 2 5s, that's 10, and it's much clearer. So that's why we do tally marks 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the line across. So here is a frequency table or a tally chart of how many brothers and sisters Emma's classmates have. So those that have no brothers or sisters, they're an only child, have 1 brother or sister, have 2, have 3, have 4, or have 5 or more. So before we start analyzing this, it's always a good idea to take those tally marks and change them to a number frequency. So you need to look at that and go, oh, it's 3. This one is 5 and 4, so it's 9. So you want to figure out what each value is. Okay? The first question says, more of Emma's classmates have blank brother or sister than any other number. The most. What is the most? Oh, it's like our mode. So if we look at this, most of the students had 1 brother or sister. Next question. Of Emma's classmates, how many of Emma's classmates have 3 brothers or sisters in their families? Well, it's pretty easy. Come here to 3 brothers or sisters, and the answer is, 5. How many of Emma's classmates have 4 brothers or sisters? Well, let's look at 4. That's 2. How many more of Emma's classmates have 2 brothers or sisters than 5 or more brothers, sisters in their family? The other ones were really easy. This is just a little bit harder. You got to think about it. When something says how many more, that's a comparison to see how different they are. That tells us we're going to subtract. So 2 brothers or sisters is 7, and 5 is 1, and we want to know how different they are. 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay? And then Emma has how many classmates altogether? Well, these were their answers. So 3 people said 0, 9, 7, 5, 2, 1. All you have to do is add up those numbers, and you'll get the total number of classmates, which in this case is 27. Let's look at one more example where we're going to make our own frequency or tally chart. And this one, instead of using single entries, we're going to do a range of entries. And what I mean by that is, if you look at these numbers, say these were some grades from a school that still does traditional grading. Are any of those numbers the same? No, they're not. So we would just have 1 of each of those. That doesn't do much for organizing. But when you think about grades, our lowest grades here are in the 60s, right? And 60s in most schools would be a D. So we could say from 60 to 69, from 70 to 79, from 80 to 89, and then from 90 to 100. So this would be like our D's, C's, B's, and A's. We don't want to have it overlap. We don't want to have it 60 to 70, 70 to 80, because then if you were going to place an 80, where would it go? Would it go here or would it go here? So you make sure that your intervals, your spacing doesn't overlap. Now we just go through with tally marks. We've got 72, so that would go here in the 70s. We've got 68, we've got an 85, we've got a 90, we've got a 61, we've got a 79, got an 84, got a 100, got a 95, and a 92. So our frequency for the 60 to 69 is 2. Our frequency for 70 to 79 is 2. Our frequency for 80 to 89 is 2. And our frequency for 90 to 100 is 4. I crossed those numbers off as I marked them just to keep myself straight so that I didn't leave any numbers out. You can also always go 4, 6, 8, 10 in my frequency and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, I got them all. So that's how I would make a frequency table with a range of values. Now you can go on and work on the example and your independent practice.